gonna send you one in the mail.
You're not gonna wear that. So you want to send me that in the mail so I can put it in the trash instantly? not that you can really brag about anything. Not that I can either. But
zero.
Yeah.
I can't talk no football, no sport.
That's a fact. All right.
No sports.
Because you're a man that I can just jump right into this. I can just jump right into it.
Let's do it.
We'd like to welcome you back to the Barber Biz Podcast. What an honor and a privilege it is to be here with Mr. Glen Hamilton, Hamilton Monroe Grooming. Thank you so much for being with us today. How are you doing today, sir?
Doing just fine, man. Thanks for having me. Thank you for inviting me. I feel honored to be here, man. It's a blessing. Thank you.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. So let's start back in the beginning. Now, if you check out your Instagram, it says Hamilton Monroe Grooming. Now, tell me where that comes from. Now, I know your last name is Hamilton. So
yeah, Hamilton. Yeah, it's gardener person out here making a lot of noise. I don't know if you can hear all of that, but yeah. So Hamilton is my last name. Monroe is my middle name. So I kind of just reversed it a little bit. Said Hamilton Monroe Grooming. When I had my business set up, I kind of named my barber chair. So I named the barber chair Monroe.
Well, it had its own personality.
Yeah, it got its own person. It's kind of fly. It's an uppity style. Monroe, something more a little distinctive.
Oh, something like a New Yorker would do. Something extra and unnecessarily uppity. I think.
Nah, not extra. We keep it fly.
Let's go back to the beginning. So you're from New York, correct?
That is correct.
So unfortunately, I do have to interview somebody who's from New York on my podcast, but that's all good. We'll get past that. Mm-hmm. So what started you in the barber field?
Well, as you know, Dan, I don't know if a lot of your listeners know, and I know you do not like when I put you out there, but Mr. Brown was the one who was one of my instructors, my main instructor for me getting into this industry. And I started late in life. So through a few hard knocks in life, just decided to reinvent myself. And upon reinventing myself, I started going to cutting edge beauty school where I took to learning barbering. Didn't know anything about it, but I learned the profession. And once learning this trade, this craft of barbering, it was something that I wish I had jumped into as an adolescent or a young man because I really loved it.
So what about it drew you to it? Like what made you decide to do barbering, and what's kind of kept you passionate about it?
Okay, well, to give you full clarity on that, before coming into that field, I used to date a few women who were they were stylists. They was in their own business, they were in that lane, and I used to see that during their having their own business, setting their own hours, they made good money, no boss. They were very independent, a very independent business. So one day, my mother, like I said, I had to reinvent myself. So I was like, what am I going to do with myself at this time? And my mother was like, she was I can remember being in my mother's kitchen, and she was in there fussing at my younger brother, telling him to do something in his life because he a knucklehead. He was in the streets. And she said, you need to go down there to that new barber school down there. They just opened it. You should just go enroll and learn yourself a trade. And by this time, Dan, I was doing a bunch of little different odd jobs, to come, just to get by. So I'm listening to her fuss at my little brother. I said, well, you know what? I'm going to go take a look into it. And the very next day, I went down to Cutting Edge Beauty Supply, Cutting Edge School, and I enrolled. And from there, it was a wrap.
Yeah. So what have been some of the challenges that you faced? What were some of the challenges that you faced while you were in school? Let's start there.
Well, I still had to make a living. So the challenge of me being in school, and again, I started late in life, we're just keep it real official. So, I did a little time, coming home from there, from being incarcerated, coming home, had to reinvent to see what I had to do. So I'm a grown man. I'm not living with my mother. So I still had to take care of myself, plus go to school. So like when I said I was doing multiple odd jobs, I would go to work early in the morning, get to school in the morning, leave, go do another odd job just to get the hours. So just finding a good balance for my schooling, so I think that was the biggest challenge for me.
Was it intimidating being somebody who was starting a little bit later in life as opposed to somebody who was younger?
Nah, not really, because I knew I was focused. I knew what I wanted to do, where I wanted to go with this. So at this time, it wasn't a hustle for me. I knew I was going to make it a business. So I was kind of soaking it in from the younger guys, the younger generation who was there, because they was kind of really sharp with it. So it wasn't intimidating.
So you get out of school, you get out into the field, and what was it like being fresh out of school? Now it's all on you. There's no crutches, no instructors, no nothing. What was that like?
That was a funny look, because the first barbershop I went to, it was called Golden Clippers, and it was over there by Wesley Chapel, and it was a small barbershop. Didn't have a lot of heavy traffic. It was the owner and his son, and I made the third barber. And man, those were some painful times, bro, because now at this time, I'm really going full in. So I'm in barbering. I let some of those other odd jobs that I was doing go. Like I had 2 or 3 odd jobs, so I might have let 2 of those go, left 1 part-time and still doing barbering. And it was a slow process my first 6 months because that barbershop was not jumping. Then another barbershop, Total Package, it opened like right around the corner from where I was located. And I always saw that the position of where the location of where the barbershop plays a major role. So where this new barbershop Total Package was going to, I said, oh, it's going to be busy over here. So I left there and I went over to Total Package. And then that had its other challenges because now I'm in a barbershop where I go from just only 3 barbers. This barbershop had 20 chairs, had about 12 barbers, 15 barbers. So, it was hectic. Me being an older barber, old school barber anyway, and a new barber, man, it was so cutthroat then, but I had to get in and find my way.
What do you mean by cutthroat?
Oh, man, well, okay, that's cutthroat, lack of professionalism. Let me put it that way. Lack of professionalism. Standing at the front of the door, the business, getting the business in the parking lot, it wasn't hardly no structure, especially since the barbershop owners were not barbers at this time. So at that location, there was no structure. It was just a free-for-all. Yeah. Yo, let me get it how I get it. I'm going out here, just no structure.
Yeah. And make no mistake about it, big shout out to Total Package. Big shout out to, I can't remember the name of the first one you said that you were at.
Golden Clippers.
Golden Clippers. One of the things that I'll say about Glen and about a lot of very professional barbers is that when they leave different establishments, they never leave on bad terms. So it's never a matter of saying that like it's not throwing any shade in any shops or anything like that because but we just got thrown them out there, obviously.
Okay, yeah, thank you. Yeah, no. Total Package was great. I got along with the owner, excuse me, and same thing I'm telling you is what I told him at that same barbershop. So when he opened his second barbershop, now remind you, I'm new in the barber game. I'm new. This ain't but the second shop I worked in coming right out of school. Yeah. But I could see that it lacked professionalism. It lacked structure. And I used to tell the owner, I say, man, it's your business, but it's sure they, jokers drinking in the back, smoking weed in the back of the shop, got the shop, it just the nature of it. So when he opened up his another shop, guess who he made the manager? He made your boy Glen, made me the manager of that next shop. And we just tried to add a little structure, not being too strict on it, but just a little structure to it.
So you put So you put the manager's hat on. What has that been like being the manager of a shop?
Hey, man. Well, I had a hairline. I had hair on my head before. Man, I always tell people, man, Dan, a barbershop really shouldn't need no manager. It should really run on itself, especially when you're dealing with grown people. Yeah. The manager of the shop should just make sure everything, just the transition flows smoothly, the professionalism, sanitation procedures. A lot of times when they have somebody, when you have a manager holding other people accountable, they don't like it. They don't appreciate it. So it can become hectic, but you just have to keep a fine balance, So managing, I enjoyed it, but it had its own challenges as well.
Yeah. So what have been some of the benefits of being in this profession now? For how long have you been licensed now? What's it been?
Almost a decade, bro. I'm in my 10th year now. Wow. 9 years. Yeah, decade now, 10 years.
So what have the benefits been to being dedicated to your field and to your craft going on almost 10 years?
Man, it's again, one of the main reasons I really enjoyed getting into this was because I set my own hours. I set my own time. I structured my time. Time is money. So once you locked into, and not knocking anybody who has a 9-to-5 job, so be it. But I give myself a raise whenever I want to give myself a raise, or I take my time to be with my family, or my time to pursue other goals and other activities that I have in my life. So it allows me to do that. To be quite honest, barbering pays for me to do my full-time job, which is share positive thoughts from the Bible with individuals that I love doing. So,
yeah, absolutely. Great. So let me ask you this too. Do you think that is it a challenge trying to make sure that you keep a structure with your business, given the fact that you can make your own hours and you can kind of do your own thing? Is it a challenge for you to be able to stay structured?
It was in the beginning. But once you have that in place, then it comes a little more easier, But at first, trying to find that structure of when I wanted to do it and training my clients. See, I had to train my clients. I don't let my clients train me. That's another mistake some barbers get. Our time is valuable, so I couldn't be the one sitting around. Well, when you're building a clientele, you in the shop all you can so you can build your clientele. But once your clientele is built up, then your professionalism, and you let your clients know, look, I'm available at this time. They respect it, and those who don't, they move on, and somebody else will move in.
Yeah. So what are your future endeavors or goals in regards to barbering or the industry?
I'm laughing because I see your face, Dan. You've been you've been wanting me to put that instructor's hat on for quite some time, and I be seeing my man King Cuts out there and his instructors, and I see his business, and I see things going on, and I see other little couple of barbers who I'm familiar with, and being an instructor is where this next journey of my life in barbering should go. My wife is always telling me, she supports me 100%. She just said, go ahead and do it. Just do it. Quit talking about it and be about it. But as you know, Dan, when you wear multiple different other hats somewhere else, sometimes finding that little bit of challenge of time to go back to school. Yeah. And I should have listened to you at first. Do it right after that. Don't stop. Who was it? Game. He was, oh my gosh, that little young man was way before his time. He was very mature. Game, the groomer, was very mature because he did it. And I should have followed that same suit because he did school and went straight and got his instructor's license back to back. That's the best thing I would tell any young barber coming in the industry, if that's what you want to do and make it a business.
Well, I got one more question for you. So okay. If you could change anything in terms of your journey, what would it be? I think I have a guess of what it would be, but your journey in terms of being the barber that you are today, what would it have been?
Well, two things. One thing, if I could change anything, I would have started sooner.
Yeah.
I wish I'd have the focus and the mindset to say, you know what, I want to make this my business way before when I did. That's one. And the second thing is, I wish I would have went straight into trying to get my instructor's license right after that and not taking no time off for schooling, because it's so hard to get back into school. And we see that happen with young students when they go to school for barbering. They be so close to getting their 1,500 hours and then they stop. Or they make the mistake to go into a barbershop and stop making money and they don't finish school.
Yeah. Well, Glenn, we really appreciate your time. I mean, this was like a power-packed last few minutes that we had. You know, again, it's an honor and a privilege to be able to have you here today. Hamilton Monroe Grooming, Glen Hamilton, thank you again. We look forward to having you again in the future.
No. Thank you for having me, man. I've been wanting to get on this podcast for a minute. Shout out to you there, and I'm muchly appreciated to you. Cutting Edge, School, Miss D, everybody, Game, Easy. You know, I learned from all them brothers, man. So thank you. Thank you for having me. Appreciate it.
Absolutely, man. Well, thanks a lot. We appreciate it. We'll see you in the next episode.
Peace.